Today we're going to be focusing on the cabbage. Cabbage is a very low cost, versatile vegetable that we can be used in all kinds of different recipes. You could try it in soups, you can roast it, you can do all kinds of wonderful things. Today we're going to be making egg roll in a bowl. For the ingredients, you're going to need a cabbage. You're going to need a green pepper. You will want some garlic, an onion, medium size is best, 1 carrot. This is a ginger root. We're going to just be using some ginger powder, but you could also grate this very finely to add to the recipe if you ever receive this at the markets. You will also need some ground turkey. Now, lean meat is good, but in leaner the better, but turkey works beautifully in this recipe. In addition, you'll need some soy sauce. This is the powdered ginger, some oils. Sesame seed oil brings a wonderful Asian flair to this recipe. So what we want to do first is prep everything and chop and get it all ready to go. Let's start with the onion. Now with the onion, you want to get rid of the root end and the top end first. And I like to drag it because it takes a peel so that you can get that very top layer off. If you want to, you can take an angle here and a little cut. And by doing so, you pop off all that aged onion. All right, so start with a half cut. The best way I look to see to do this is drag through straight, right? Turn it, chop. This will give you a nice size onion piece for the sauteing. Remember always to wash your hands and take care of your countertop first before doing any cooking. All right, let me get a bowl. And we're going to do it this way. And put that off to the side so that we can get to the next vegetable prep. Now, remember your knife safety also. You want to curl your fingers when you're doing this and try to keep your fingers out of the way of the knives. So when you're doing the green pepper, here's the best way I like to look at it. You have this top. If you take a seam and cut through all the way, you can then pop it open and the seeds will come with it. Just take your thumb, take your bowl, take it over here, and dump it and shake all the seeds out. All right, so now you have just a few areas in which you would like to trim to get out that white part and the seeds. I like to pinch to get the insides. Because with this one, if you look, you only have to pinch to get that inside out. Through the cut, you were able to get the rest of the white out. For this one, for this recipe, you want them to be long and slender. So I'm going to use my paring knife to do this. Just cut them slender. The more slender, the more tender when you're cooking in the recipe, when you saute, because you're going to be sauteing this, so you want it to be a slender piece. Put this off into a bowl. I'm going to shake this out a little bit better and get those seeds out of there. I'm going to discard this piece because of the white that's in it. You can use it, but it takes some of the flavor. If you want to use it, just gently cut the white part out because that adds a bitterness. I'll scoop that, put it in your bowl. Now the next one is to do is your carrot. When you're doing the carrot, wash it first, give it a nice wash, and then I'm gonna just do it right here. When you're peeling, peel away. It saves your fingers. Just do a long peel. I like to keep the root, the stem part, on it while I'm doing my peeling to give me a grip. Once you get all the peel off, take off the dead end from each side. Get that out of your way. Now, when you're grating, a grater, you can have a box grater, you can have a flat grater, any grater works, but you hold it down. Just grate it down, getting a good grip of that carrot. Watch your fingers at this point. We don't want to lose any fingers. That would be really bad. So be safe when you're working with your equipment. With a carrot, you've got an orange vegetable. And when you're working with orange vegetables and dealing with them, you're looking at great eyesight, vitamin A, and it's also really good for your skin and your immune systems. All right, that looks good enough. Tap it out. And so get yourself a bowl. Now with this one, scoop it. All right, looks good enough. Clean off your board because the carrot can leave a mess. All right, next is garlic. Garlic is a very difficult one to deal with if you're going with the fresh. And at the farmers markets, you can get a lot of these provided to you. When you're working with it, it is best to clean off as much as you can. And I'm going to do it over here because the covering it's really fine, so it can get into your foods. So you want to be able to remove as much of that as possible before you start to chop it. You need about 1 for this recipe. So what you want to do is take your paring knife, cut the tips off, and you'll see a peel begins to come off with it. You want to discard that peel and not use that. I'm going to try to get the remainder off. You just it peels, okay? Let's get rid of the papery covering that you get on it. You want to get rid of that because that does not cook well. So you don't want that. Now, you can do this multiple ways. You can take your knife and you can smash it, right? For this recipe, how about if we just give it a nice little chop, make some small pieces, make them thin. All right, I like to keep them stacked. That way it's a little bit less chopping. And it doesn't have to be perfect, just in the best small pieces as possible. Now, garlic is a wonderful vegetable to actually place into your foods because of the antioxidant properties and the cancer prevention properties that are found in your white vegetables. and fruits. Just going to kind of give it a chop. You just want small pieces. They get slippery. Watch out because they do get a little on the slippery side. Watch your fingers. Take a piece at a time if you need to. And take your paring knife and just do a fine chop. The smaller, the better. All right. Now, I'm just going to put this off to the side. And actually, given the situation, I'm going to actually put it into the oil because you're going to be sauteing this with the oil first. So I'm just going to infuse the sesame seed oil. It's a nice little trick when you're cooking to kind of infuse your ingredients. I got a little carrot in there, and that's fine. All right, so we're going to put this back off to the side. All right, now for the feature. We're looking at the cabbage. Now, the cabbage is a wonderful, versatile, low-cost. A lot of misconceptions happen when it comes to eating cabbage. Everyone's worried about the gas. Don't, because if you cook it right and by increasing fiber into your diet, and that's one of your goals, the gas will stop. All right, so working with this, you got this core. That is tough and not what you want to cook. You can cut it out or you can just cut in half. I'm just going to cut in half today and show you what that core actually looks like. So you got to get it down in there. You got to give it a good push. And sometimes taking in your knife first, taking it down and around and push. And by doing so, you got yourself a perfect half. And you'll see this dense, hard core. That is not edible. You want to remove that out of there. I tend to do this. Well, I'm going to show you this way. It's not the proper way. You're coming towards yourself. You want to go away. But for display purposes, let's do it this way. And if you notice, I can just go like this now. So it takes it right out for you, and now you have usable, beautiful cabbage. All right. Now, this recipe is going to call for 1 bag or 4 cups. So you can pre-buy it, but we're at the market, so we're going to get these whole. So now you have to figure out how you want to slice this up. Now, you want it thin. You want it to be fine for this recipe. A half a cabbage will give you 4 cups. So I'm going to place this one over here. When you're doing so, I like to cut in quarters. So you get 1/4. Place the other one off to the side. And you shred. Just take a slice, slow, down and away from you. Now, cabbage is wonderful. It is packed full of vitamin K. It helps the calcium get to your bones. And this is also high in calcium, so it's like eating itself. It does it together. It works together in there. Also, extremely high in vitamin C. It is very, very good for your health, your immune system, and your repair. So one of the things you've got to be aware of with vitamin C doesn't stop you from getting sick. Vitamin C actually heals your cells all the way down to your cells. So it is really, really important to have year-round. A lot of people say increase your vitamin C in the wintertime. No, do it all the time. All the time. I'm having a little difficulties here, so I'm going to break it up. Because once you get to that angle, when you get small pieces like this, you might want to turn it, pinch it, protect your fingers, grab it by your hand. That way you're protecting yourself from cut. Look how much cabbage I just got from 1/4. So think about all the different recipes you can use this in. One cabbage can get you through a whole bunch. Now storing this, it's wonderful because you can just bag this and freeze it and then add it to your soup later. We don't want to waste. So that's approximately 2 cups. So this one will finish up our other 2 cups. In addition, vitamin B6. Vitamin B6, guys, this helps you have energy. It improves your mood. It's actually an immunity builder. Now, let's talk about the potassium. Potassium helps regulate the balance of fluids in your body. It's very important for the contraction of muscles. And that's your heart. Remember, your heart is a muscle. So we're working to improve our health and our chances of heart disease, our blood pressure. Potassium is essential nutrient to accomplish that. I'm going to turn this, cut these a little bit smaller for you. All right, so I think we're there. That is approximately 4 cups, a half. Got you a whole recipe, and you can save this into the refrigerator. If you just clean this up, bag it, you don't even have to bag it actually, put it in a crisper drawer. It will last for up to 2 weeks in your refrigerator. All right, so let's get ready to put this all together and get it into the skillet. You first have to start with your ground meat and your oil. So you have 2 tablespoons of oil with your garlic being infused. You're going to want to take this over to your skillet. So I'm going to bring it over here. All right, so you want to do this on a medium heat. Don't go too high. You don't want to burn the meat, get it cooking too fast. You want a nice, soft meat. I'm going to grab a knife and spoon. All right. Now, put your oil and your garlic in here. Get it warm. So when you're cooking your meat into a recipe like this, you want to make sure it's into small pieces. Get it all browned in there. I'm going to let that sit for a second, grab my rest of my ingredients. No pink. Make sure you get all the pink out of there. So when you buy your vegetables and you're cooking for yourself versus packaged, packaged is more expensive because they're doing a service for you. If you have it fresh and you know how to cut it and you know how to store it, it is a versatile, low-cost, economical way to feed your family. And healthy. Get it into small chunks. Make sure you have no pink. Now remember, when you're choosing your meat, because we do want to remain low fat, I know the program focuses on the use of vegetables, but remember your low fats. Remember that you want to stay with a leaner meat. That's why we chose turkey. You could also go with just 80-20 ground beef, which would be a lot healthier in regards to the fats. Make sure to drain off any of the extra fats. With turkey, we're not going to have to worry about draining due to its initial, organic low fats. You can use it. I know I'm using a wooden spoon. You can use any spatula. Don't be worried about having the perfect tools, making to do your cooking. Now remember, cooking is best. Fresh is best. Let that sit in there. We got a little bit of pink in there still, so we want it to cook for a little bit longer. All right, that smells delicious. Once that's ready, drain your liquids. Now we're going to get all the fresh ingredients in here. You want to get your onion, your pepper, your carrot, and the cabbage all in there. But let's get these in here first. We're going to get the onion in. Stir that in there nice and balanced. Some carrot. This is going to be so colorful. One of the other things I want to kind of remind you about, when you're cooking, vary the colors. The more colorful your plate, the more nutritious. Think about it that way. That's what my mama always told me. If you got a colorful plate, you have a healthy plate. All right, let's get that in there and let it cook for about 5 minutes. So I'm going to measure out the ginger, and when you're measuring out ginger, you want 1 teaspoon, right? Your teaspoons will have measurements, most of them will have the actual measurement, but look at the size. Understanding a teaspoon, it takes 3 of them to make a tablespoon. When you do so, you want to scrape to level it off so it's nice and level. I'm just going to prep it and put it right there. Now with the soy sauce, you need 1/3 of a cup. So we'll come over here to our measuring cups. Pull the 1/3 cup out. Do they come apart? I see. All right. So 1/3 of a cup. Make sure you're using low sodium when you're doing this. Sodium can actually off-balance potassium. So you need to have a healthy sodium, potassium, and magnesium balance in your blood. Right there. There we go. All right, so I'm going to go back over here and check on my food. It's nice and okay. At this point, after about 5 minutes of cooking, you're going to have a softer vegetable. Oops. All right, let's add in our cabbage. It looks like a lot. It looks like a lot of cabbage. But once this steams and wilts down, it's going to be a nice, soft, but crisp vegetable in the dish. So we're just going to let it sit on top of there and get the steam and the wilts going. Once you start seeing your cabbage getting greener, it's going to get a greener color to it as it's cooking. Because when you take cabbage and you cook it with a meat, the meat's oils actually are absorbed by the cabbage. So you get this really delicious, savory flavor to your cabbage when you're cooking it with a meat. Notice it went down. Notice as it's cooking, it is becoming softer, and by so it gets incorporated into that dish. You'll see these thick pieces, they don't taste as good. So if you find any of these really big pieces after you've made it, it's okay to discard them. It's okay to try to cook them down a little bit. They're a little bit more fibrous and a little bit more chewy. But that's, a choice for you. Now that you've got the cabbage down to a wilt, just a slight wilt, takes about 5 minutes to do so, add your ginger, garlic if you didn't infuse it. I infused it in the oil. And then your low sodium soy sauce, give it a stir, and you're going to want to let it marinate and cook for about 5 to 7 more minutes to get that tender vegetable and the smell. It just smells amazing. If you like Asian, this is amazing because that ginger, that garlic, and that soy sauce brings out a wonderful flavoring to the cabbage and that meat and to your vegetables that you incorporated in this. So we'll let this cook for about 5 more minutes, just at a low. Reduce the heat at this point to make sure that you don't get any sticking and burning in your pan. Doesn't that look amazing? I think it looks amazing. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. Nice, still crisp, a little bit of color, a little bit of soy sauce. Now, you can spice this up. Right? See how beautiful that dish is. Right? You can add a little bit of heat. Get yourself some sriracha sauce. This is a sweet and sour sauce that will add a little bit more of that Asian flair. And you don't want to add a lot, just a little bit to give it a little spice. If you wish, it is not required. And there is your egg roll in a bowl. A delicious, versatile, easy to make, quick meal that can feed your family instead of going out to eat.